Yo, back with another one. Hey, it's been a minute since I made some content, but I needed some time to sit with the information that I had just so that I could digest it and, you know, figure out get an understanding of how this stuff worked. So I started making some content maybe about a year and a half ago where I really just started to evaluate what was going on in my life and comparing that to where I thought I would be by now. And it wasn't looking good. Not only was it not looking good, it wasn't looking like nothing, and didn't look like it was heading in any direction. So, but that's far from who I've always felt like. You know, I've always felt like I had some sense, but that wasn't translating to success. So, you know, I made a video about just being an adult and knowing when you got some problems coming up. 30 days, 60 days, 3 months ahead of time, you know when you got stuff coming up, and you know when you realize that you're chasing your tail, meaning that you're really always at zero, or you always owing somebody. And in that position, I could never even gain ground on investing or anything like that for that reason. So I'm, you know, and I learned that's a learned behavior, just from it's common in Americans apparently, but even more in my community, and how I grew up. So that just led me to saying, hey, it's too many people like me. I know it. I every time I talk to somebody from my generation, yeah, you know, it may be a little different, but it has a lot of similarities. And feeling like you have value, but that value not actually showing itself in real life was a problem for me. And I'm like, where are the answers? So I started making content, you know, recognizing when you having a problem coming up, you know, then by listening to some financial content on YouTube, basically where everybody else goes. I started off downsizing. Gary Vee is a popular guy. You know, you want to start making money? Just sell some of your shit. That's what he says. Yeah, Americans have too much shit, so that's what I did. I downsized. I had some unfinished projects, cars, things like that, and I sold it. I got rid of it, turned that into cash, put the cash towards debt, or, you know, just things that were not going to weren't going to be a liability for me. And that's what I did. That was my financial situation. Then I made another video about being in my early 30s and living with my folks. Once again, I wasn't downplaying that, but I was just realizing, like, man, this is not where I thought I would be. It wasn't. I never thought. I never thought so much that I never even put energy towards labeling a guy like that. You know, there might have been some people who saw that when they were young and thought, I'll never be like that, or that guy's a loser. But the thought never even crossed my mind, even as a possibility. But I found myself there. So, you know, I was just being open and transparent about that. Then I started to get into the financial literacy once I just had an understanding of what I had going on, you know, not in theory, but in reality. And that sent me on a journey. And the journey has so many levels that I really wasn't able to produce content about it right away because I didn't have an understanding. I just would have been given a play-by-play, which may be valuable, but not the way I was going through it. So long story short, I started doing some searching, and through that you have some common sources of information, and the richest man in Babylon was one of those sources. And from that book, you know, I started picking up habits like making sure I know that 10% of everything that I earn is mine. Period. It's mine. It's going into an account. I'm paying myself first, okay? 20% started to go to debt, and through sources like Dave Ramsey and the like, I started to track my money. And then, by writing down all my expenses, that journey starts off with a pad and a pencil in your pocket, and you're supposed to write down every single purchase in a day so you become conscious of what you're doing. I did that. That turned into budgeting, actually allocating the money. And I found myself in a position in less than a year where I had a couple of $1,000s. My credit wasn't significant, but it started to increase. And my bills were paid. I wasn't late on anything. And it really pointed out that behavior was a large portion of my problem. I didn't realize that I was living on 70% of my earnings. I just didn't realize that it really wasn't a difference. And I'm saying that because when you allocate the money and you really designate your money, when I designated my money for certain things, the money just wasn't disappearing. It was for what it was. There were a priority of things. Me first, debt and bills, and then the remainder used to be, maybe, but then I started putting names on that and started saying, all right, if this is what you have left over, then you need to at least keep this to the next week. And that would just get me into the habit of actually being conscious with my money. And that led to me having a nice savings and being in a decent position. That was the point I was about to start making more content, like the success story. Yeah, I got, now I can do this and da-da-da. But I ran into another problem, which is what this video is about. Establishing a pace and not over leveraging. And this was a battle that brought me back down. The difference this time, though, is I know how to do it. Once you do it once, it's so easy. And I'm not even blocked in my brain. I know I have the capability to save some money without increasing my income. That's a whole nother ball game. That's a whole nother, get up and hustle, create more income. At the very least, my behavior allowed me to pay my bills on time, create a nest egg for myself, and also kill some of my debt. Now, that is where the pace was set in. I realized I had to establish a pace, meaning if I was putting 20% on debt and 1 week I'm just feeling great because I have momentum and I get my check on a Friday that's in the middle of the month, so no bills are really due like that, maybe a cell phone bill or something like that, and I'm like, forget it. I'm putting all this on my credit card. I'm putting all that. I don't need it. I'm living frugal anyway. I'm putting that over there on my credit card. I can't wait till this hit my credit report. I didn't honor my pace. I didn't honor my plan. Yes, you can make changes, but I'm talking about somebody who's encountering these financial levels for the first time consciously. You know what I mean? I actually worked my way there. I didn't find my way into some money. Everybody done found their way into some quick money and lost it fast. Might have flipped it for a while, but you lost it. But I actually learned this. I actually earned this. I actually saved this. I actually planned to have that. And I thought I was doing the right thing. And what that led to was me being over leveraged. So because I didn't stick to my pace, I found myself over leveraged, meaning I didn't have enough cash to cover, let's say, a bill or an expense or an emergency, which happens all the time as an adult. Now, guess what I have to spend? I have to spend that same credit. You have to use that same credit card to buy something that I just paid down. I just paid it down. Now I'm taking care of that problem, and I'm cashless. I've depleted the debt, and I've killed momentum. So saying that, it sounds like, oh, okay, you well, fine. You broke. It's basically like you spent the money out of your debit, and it's cool. But that's not what happened. It does something to my mind when I come back around to my due date or my statement date, and all that money that I put on that credit card was for something else. And I found my account on zero on payday. So every dollar at that point needs to go out. I just realized that you have to be patient. You have to establish a pace and work the plan. Yes, that you can make room for changes. That's no problem. As long as you're staying focused, and if something throws you off, you're making sure you get back on track, fine. But I'm talking about coming into a situation where you're trying to get a hold of what's going on with your finances in life, and you find some type of formula or philosophy that gets you out of your hell for a second. Oh my God, nobody's calling me about bills. I actually have some money in my account. I don't have to worry about counting pennies to make sure that I get just enough gas. Something that I haven't went through in a while, but I was there, and my behavior cleaned those things up. And then I found myself in a position where I had some money and I was eligible for things again. That required a different level of discipline and commitment to the plan, because being over leveraged as somebody who sells something during a time where nobody's buying leaves you with little cash and a lot of product. Finding myself credit worthy for more lines of credit, taking those on, using those lines of credit to leverage some plan, a business plan, or something that was just available. I didn't really plot and plan on this thing. Somebody said, "Oh, look, you look good on paper now. Do you want $1,000 of credit?" I take that $1,000 of credit and use it towards something that, and I'm not even gonna put ignorance in this. I use it towards something that I think is a good idea, but my idea does not calculate cycles of the market that I'm in. Whether it be selling or a service. So over leveraging puts me in a position where my cash was low. I was high in product, or high in ideas, or high in flyers, or whatever I put that money in when I just had a great idea real quick. Now that I got a couple $1,000, and now, let me get a truck and I can start running hot shots. That's just a good idea. I didn't establish a pace. I didn't plan that out. I got happy because I finally was able to do something. But that don't mean that every decision I should have attacked. I should not have taken more credit once I built my credit from, I believe that was like a 480 on my last video I made. It's well beyond that now. I got into the 600s, the mid 600s in a short amount of time, and that came down. It came down because I got happy. I had some money available to me. And just like when you buy that car, or when I buy that car, and it seemed like everybody on the road got the car now, that's how it is. When I had the bag, I saw opportunities at every corner. I'm on the auction site, like, I can afford that. What's up? I'm bidding up. Let's go. I match that. So, that is just the piece of advice I would like to give in this segment. After you first of all, you have to, as a person who is coming from not a lot of financial education and trying to educate myself like without a real mentor for real, except maybe some guy on YouTube, um, it's levels. It's levels. And behavior is number one. I had to get a control of what was going on. Then came the point where now what do you do with what you have, with what you've earned, what you've already been having. You finally locked in and managed it properly. Now what? And my message for that moment or that era or that level is pace yourself, meaning be patient, but stay ready and be quick. Don't jump on every deal or don't jump on every investment scheme, plan, whatever, somebody's presenting to you. However, in that same breath, when a good one comes across your plate, be ready. You can't be ready if you over leveraged. You ain't got no cash to spend if all your money just went into 1,000 units of this thing that you're trying to flip. I'm not saying that's a bad idea. I'm just saying that being over leveraged, meaning zero cash and high credit or high products or whatever you've bought into, that situation does not put you in a opportunity to seize a steal or a deal or an opportunity. So watch being over leveraged. Be patient. Don't jump on everything. Be ready. Make sure you be ready. Make sure you have cash or some form of tender to use for a deal or an investment when that comes. You can't do that if you're over leveraged. And be quick. Good deals don't last long. Now, I'm not going to get into how to invest because that's not where I am. I haven't developed a full understanding. There are things that I do, but I don't understand it completely like I understand behavior being the center of a lot of financial issues, behavior and management. And at this level, over leveraging and lack of pace, lack of patience, not being ready, and not striking when the iron is hot does not grow your wealth, and in fact will kill it. And lastly, don't over leverage. Getting your money in order is going to put you in positions to do things. That does not mean you have to do everything. When I say money burns a hole in the person's pocket, if you have the gift to save, that's really a gift. Cherish it. Because I almost have anxiety when I have extra money. It's like, I know, and it's not even like I should be doing something bad. It's like, man, I need to be looking at property. I need to go pay some more debt down. Like, I need to get the ball rolling so that but I can't forget. Life still happens. So I can't be so gung-ho that I'm dumping money into some ideal investment strategy, and I'm not able to handle a $500 deductible if I get into an accident. It happens every day. So it's so likely, and that's the least of the issues. I got full coverage, 500. They'll take my car, and I have a rental to cover me. So all I got to do really is still just pay gas. That's ideal. That's real grown person stuff. That's somebody who kind of got some things together, kind of. But if you've been out here, living in chaos, creating chaos, then that's not the situation. An accident will cripple whatever you think you're doing. So don't over leverage for that reason, just so that you're able to maintain momentum. Till next time, let's get it.